Hi there, and welcome back to Sparkle and Shine. I'm your host, Laila, and today we're diving into a topic that every homeowner should be aware of: water damage. Whether it's a leaky appliance, burst pipe, or just everyday humidity, water can wreak serious havoc on your floors. But the good news? With a few smart steps, you can prevent most of the damage and fix it when it happens. Let's break it down. Let's start with what actually causes water damage. And spoiler alert, it's not just floods or broken pipes. Water damage is sneaky. Sometimes it hits all at once, and other times it slowly builds up behind the scenes. Here are some of the most common ways it shows up in homes. Number 1, plumbing problems. Old pipes, loose fittings, or worn out seals can slowly leak without you even realizing it. Think under the sink drips or tiny leaks behind toilets. These are the silent troublemakers that often go unnoticed until there's visible damage. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine just had this situation go through their home. In February or so, they noticed that their floors were gushing water. And when the contractor came out to take a look, they tore up the floors, tore out the walls. Turns out there was just one pipe that was a little bit leaky, and it had been leaking for months and months and months until it finally appeared from under their floors. So again, silent troublemaker that goes unnoticed until there's literally visible damage. Number 2, appliance malfunctions. Dishwashers, washing machines, water heaters, even your fridge. They all have water lines, and any of them can spring a leak. One cracked hose or clogged drain, and suddenly you're dealing with water pooling under your floors. This is another situation that we've dealt with. We had a client in Sherman Oaks who had gone on vacation, and when they came back, it turns out the water hose leading to their washing machine had burst. They have a 3-story home, and the washing machine sits at the topmost story of their home, and so it just leaked and leaked and leaked for 3 or 4 days. And when they came home after their vacation, their basement was full of water. And yeah, that's a lot of water. Number 3, overflow situations. We've all had this kind of moment, right? An overflowing bathtub, a toilet that won't stop running, or a sink left on too long. It's easy to think it's just water, I'll mop it up. But even a small overflow can seep beneath tile, laminate, or hardwood and start a slow damage process. Number 4 is roof and gutter issues. If your roof is leaking or your gutters are clogged, water can find its way down into your ceilings, walls, and floors, especially during rainy season. This kind of damage might not show up until paint bubbles or your floorboards start to warp. In our house, we had an interesting leak in the closet where our furnace was, and the leak happened just perfectly so that it would turn. It short-circuited the motherboard in our furnace, and the entire first summer we lived in that house, we had no heater because the furnace was short-circuited. And that's the kind of thing that is on back order when you need it. And what else is new? Let's see. What are we on? Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, poor ventilation and humidity. Bathrooms, basements, and laundry rooms are hot spots for excess humidity. Over time, that moisture can settle into your floors, especially wood and carpet, causing mildew, mold, and damage to the subfloor beneath. This is also incredibly important when you consider things like showers and bathroom enclosures. If you don't have good ventilation, if you don't have good drainage, then the water can sometimes settle into the grout lines and start seeping behind your tile, especially like every little hole or crack. That water is going to get behind there and it'll slowly turn into mildew, which can become an even bigger problem in the future. And then finally, we have pet accidents and spills. These are the little day-to-day things. Like I said, spills, pet accidents, even overwatering houseplants. If those little messes sit for too long, especially on porous flooring, they can leave lasting stains and smells, and sometimes even trigger mold growth underneath. We had a client that had beautiful trees all throughout her home, like she had huge, tall ceilings and beautiful Spanish tile. But every time she watered her plants, it would overflow just a little bit out of the plate on the bottom. And slowly over time, this calcium, this efflorescence was building up. And she just had these really awful white calcified stains on her floors. We were able to take care of them, but it could have been avoided if she was a little more conscientious about watering the plants. In any case, as you can see, water damage doesn't always come crashing in with floodwaters and a downpour of rain. A lot of the time, it just sneaks in through everyday situations. Being aware of these common culprits is the first step to helping protect your home. Okay, now that we've talked about how water damage starts, let's shift gears a little and talk about prevention, because the best fix is the one you never have to make. The truth is, most water damage is preventable. It just takes a little routine maintenance, a few smart habits, and being just a tad more proactive than you probably want to be. I get it. Who wants to check behind their washing machine on a Sunday? But here's what you can do to save yourself time, stress, and some major repair bills. Number 1, inspect regularly. Get into the habit of doing a quick visual check every month or so. Look under sinks, peek behind toilets, check around your water heater and laundry machines, and don't forget spots like basements or garages, anywhere you don't usually hang out. Even small signs like bubbling paint, damp baseboards, or a musty smell can sometimes signal a hidden leak. Number 2, upgrade with intention. Replace rubber hoses on your washing machine or dishwasher with braided stainless steel. They're tougher and last longer. And if your appliances are more than 8 to 10 years old, it might be time to proactively replace or service them, especially if they run on auto and you're not around when they're working. Number 3, install water sensors. This one is so simple, but incredibly effective. Water alarms or leak detectors placed near your water heater, behind toilets, under sinks, or even in your crawl space can alert you to leaks before they become full-blown disasters. I mean, nothing hurts worse than getting your water bill and it being like 100% more than you were expecting simply because you have a hidden leak somewhere in your home. Number 4, control humidity. Use exhaust fans in bathrooms and kitchens and use them long enough to actually dry the space out. In more humid rooms like laundry areas or basements, a small dehumidifier can make a huge difference. You want indoor humidity to be between 30 to 50% to stay safe. And you can absolutely get a humidity meter so you can see what the humidity inside is. Number 5, seal and reseal. Stone floors, grout lines, and even some types of hardwood need to be sealed to prevent moisture from seeping in. If it's been more than 2 years since you sealed your tile or stone, it might be time to refresh it. We've had clients who thought their floors were sealed forever. Spoiler, no sealer lasts forever, especially in high traffic or wet areas. Number 6, clean up spills immediately. Don't wait. A spilled glass of water might seem harmless, but if it seeps between floorboards or under furniture and gets trapped, that moisture can lead to warping, mold, or staining, especially on wood, laminate, and carpet. And bonus, know where your shutoff valve is. In a true emergency, being able to shut off the water quickly can save your floors and your sanity. If you don't know where it is, take a couple minutes to go find it after this episode. I promise you're going to thank yourself later. When we first moved into this house, we were running new sprinklers. Now, luckily, this wasn't inside the house, but we were running new sprinklers, and we cut a pipe that was fed by the main water line. Oops. And the water shut off to the house itself was buried under the previous homeowner's grass. So we just had water gushing for way too long before we were able to find the water shut off. So definitely, absolutely make sure you can go find it. Luckily, like I said, this was outside of our house, but imagine if that was inside, it would have been a disaster. All right. And now for our next section. How to fix the damage. So let's say the worst happens. You walk into your living room and squish. There's water where there definitely shouldn't be. Don't panic. The key is to act quickly and strategically. The faster you move, the better your chances of saving your floors and your wallet. Here's your step-by-step. Number 1, stop the source. If it's a burst pipe, turn off the main water valve. If it's an appliance, unplug it and cut the water supply. You've got to stop more water from flowing in immediately. And this is why knowing where your shutoff valve is, like I mentioned earlier, is so important. Step 2, start drying fast. Speed is everything. The longer moisture sits, the deeper it seeps. So open your windows if the weather allows. Set up fans and point them directly at the wet areas. Use a dehumidifier if you have one. It'll help pull moisture from the air and the subfloor. And if there's large amounts of water, you might need a wet-dry vacuum or professional water extraction. This step is crucial. Even if the surface looks dry, the material underneath might not be. Step number 3, clean and disinfect. If water has been sitting for more than 24 hours, mold starts to become a concern, especially with carpet and wood. Use a disinfectant cleaner that's safe for your floor type to prevent bacteria and mildew. And if it's gray water, like from a washing machine, or worse, black water from a toilet or sewage line, do not try to handle it yourself. That's a call the professionals immediately kind of situation. And as a matter of fact, in any case, when water damage happens, it is a call a professional immediately kind of situation because professionals have the tools and the knowledge to handle a water damage situation so that you're able to work with your insurance and actually receive some help from your insurance. If you handle it yourself and you don't take the right steps and photograph every step of the way, then you run the risk of not being covered. So from the beginning, make sure you call a professional and get the help that you need. Step 4 is the reason why you should call a professional. Assess the damage. Now is the time to see what we're dealing with. If for carpet, if it's caught early, we can often clean and dry it thoroughly. But if the padding is soaked through, you might need to be replacing that to prevent mold and odor. Hardwood, you might see cupping or warping. Minor damage can often be sanded and refinished, but if boards are buckling or popping up, then replacement might be needed. Unfortunately, laminate doesn't handle water well, so if it bubbles or warps, it's not going to be savable. You're going to have to replace that. And for tile and grout, well, luckily tile is water resistant. But grout lines and subfloors aren't. So if water seeps below, we may need to remove and reset tiles or reseal the grout. But this is where we, or any trusted flooring pro, can help you make the right call. And pro tip, like I said before, if you plan on filing an insurance claim, take videos and photos of the damage, the water source, and your cleanup efforts. It makes the process smoother and gives you proof of what happened. What you should not be doing is assuming that the damage is only where you can see it. Don't delay drying. The quote, wait and see approach will absolutely cost you. And don't use any heat guns or hair dryers or anything that produces heat on any of your surfaces. It can cause warping on the wood floors. It can cause your carpets to turn yellow. And just as a matter of fact, it can cause all sorts of problems with heat. So just try to avoid using those. Now, deep breath. Fixing water damage can be stressful, but it's absolutely manageable, especially when you know what to look for and act quickly. So water damage is a super tricky situation, and there are lots and lots of questions and concerns when it comes to water damage and how to handle it, right? One such question is that we've seen quite a few times is, my hardwood floors got wet during a leak, but they look fine now. should I still be worried? Now, this is such a common and important question, and I kind of touched on it before as well, but for all floors, even if they look fine now, if they got wet during a leak, there are extra steps that need to be taken. Because here's the thing, just because the floors look okay on the surface doesn't mean the moisture is gone. Wood is porous, and water can soak in below the finish, down into the boards and even the subfloor. That hidden moisture can take days or even weeks to fully dry. And during that time, you could see cupping or warping, musty smell developing, mold growth, especially if it's humid. So what we generally recommend is using a moisture meter. You can get one at most hardware stores, or bring in a pro who can check moisture levels underneath the floors for you. If it's truly dry and still flat, you're probably fine. But if there's even a hint of movement or swelling, catching it early gives you the best chance at repair instead of a replacement. We had a client who had a roof leak, and she called us in to use our moisture meter to see where the moisture had traveled to. And the walls of her room looked absolutely fine from the outside. But the room had a funky smell to it, right? So we came in with the moisture meter. We pointed it at the walls. We're looking around with our IR cameras to try and find the moisture. And lo and behold, the entire wall from top to bottom was wet. You couldn't see it from the outside, but the studs were totally rotten through and everything needed to be changed. Luckily, we were able to catch it before it traveled to the rest of the room, and it was just one area. But that kind of thing is what a moisture meter helps to prevent. So definitely don't wait. Use that moisture meter. And in general, preventative measures will give you the best chance at just repair instead of a full replacement. Water damage is one of those things that can sneak up on you, quietly causing long-term problems before you even realize something's, wrong. But with the right knowledge, a little regular maintenance, and fast action when something does go wrong, you can protect your floors and your peace of mind. And while we're talking about protecting your home, next week we're flipping the conversation a little because it turns out a clean home isn't just about looking good. On May 28th, join me for the unexpected benefits of a clean home. We'll talk about the surprising ways cleanliness affects your mood, focus, health, and even relationships, and how just 10 minutes a day can make a bigger difference than you think. Until then, keep those floors dry, your grout sealed, and your home sparkling. I'm Laila, and this is Sparkle and Shine. Thank you so much for spending your Wednesday morning with me. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, keep shining.